Hey, what's up? It's Ryan Latham, and I'm here to introduce to you guys our new series. It's called Demand. You see, we're in the resource room here because it supplies the church, and the supplies are based on the demands. You see, what's demanded in these boxes is what is supplied. And so the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about supply and demand. We're going to be talking about some things that are demanded of us. You see, I know all of you guys have tons of demands like football practice, soccer practice. We got things like homework and cleaning your room and phone calls. And of course, you got to update your Facebook and your Twitter account. This week, we're looking at supply and demand. And next week, we're going to be talking about hunger and thirst. Do you hunger and thirst? Feathers and googly eyes? For real? What's inside? Woo! Feathers! Woo! Googly eyes. I love hanging out with my kids. It's so great. It's great to watch them grow up and become little men. It's great to watch them come up and grow up and they become little me's. my kids, my kids love to watch me and try to act like me. And I love that they love to show me their projects. You see, these are just pieces of plastic. Some of you, you know what these are. These are train tracks. I mean, most of you probably don't really care about train tracks. Maybe when you were a little kid, maybe you played with them a little bit. But you see, for my son Hunter, these aren't just pieces of plastic. These aren't just train tracks. These right here, these are pretty awesome to them. You see, he loves building train tracks. He loves spending time molding him, shaping him into different tracks and that his trains can go on and all this kind of stuff. He loves them. But you know what he loves more? He loves when he's done building a track. When he's done building his track, he loves to get up and run into my room and say, Daddy, you got to come see this track that I've built. And you know what? It is so awesome to be able to get up, come in the room, and say, wow, Hunter, that is a great track, buddy. You've done a great job. That is awesome. I'm so proud of you.
No, 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 no.
You see, it's important to him that I say I love you, that I am proud of you, that I'm excited about you. Why? Because he believes that I'm his father. Obviously I am. Obviously I'm his father. But if he didn't believe that I was his father, he probably wouldn't want my attention as much. But because he knows and he believes that I'm his father, he wants me to give him approval. What he believes about me is what he acts. This box of tracks, it's limited. You see, there's only so many tracks that can fit in this box. There's only so many tracks that, well, I can afford to buy. And so this box, it will run out. But my question tonight is this. What is it that you're asking your Father? Because his supply never runs out. His supply is limitless. The only limits that it has is the limit of what we ask for.
Some demands that make it a little harder for me to follow God are probably mostly schoolwork, because I have to focus on that most of the time, and especially with classes I dislike. and struggle with. It's really hard for me to keep
A lot of the demands in my house are really hard. I have a lot of chores to do daily. I'm constantly being called. And on top of that, I have schoolwork, and so when I'm at home, I don't really have the ability to make time for God. It's really hard for me to stay consistent.
And when school starts, I have to, and cause schools are around like 3, and then I go home, then I go for Bible practice, and then that's till like 5, and then sometimes I play on my traveling team too, and that can go on to like probably 6:37, and then I have to go home, and then I have to eat. Then I still have to worry about my homework because I can't get in trouble for my grades, and then I might have chores too, and I might just try to do extra stuff to make the parents happy, and I still have to. And then you're like, at the end of the day, you're so tired, but you know, like you in the back of your head, you're like, I should probably go read my Bible and stuff. But you're just like, but you're like exhausted, and like sometimes I don't want to like fall asleep while reading my Bible. Just won't do it.
God is my school and my family, because my family has a lot of problems, and it doesn't necessarily allow me to go to church and schoolwork, because you have to pay so much attention to it or else you'll fail and have to repeat your grade.
In Numbers chapter 15, God tells us that He wants us to wear tassels on the ends of our robes.
The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the people of Israel and tell them to make tassels on the corner of the garments throughout the generation, and to put a cord of blue on the tassels of each corner."
And these tassels are a reminder, a visual reminder of the great teachings of Moses, the first 5 books of the Bible. You see, these prayer shawls, as we call them, are really called a kanaf. Now, on the edge of the kanaf, there's these tassels that are called sheetsies. And a sheetsie would have 5 knots on them, representing the first 5 books of the Bible, the great teachings of Moses. And you see, these were really cool because they were visual reminders. The word sheetsie is spelled T-Z-I-Z-I. So from some of y'all might be saying, that's a T-zate-zate. No, it's a sheetsie, not a T-zate-zate. And you see, the sheetsies, it became known that the sheetsies were like wings. And so in Malachi chapter 4, we read about the Messiah coming with healing in His wings.
But for you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall rise with healing in its wings.
Now, legend has that the Messiah would come with healing in His wings, and that the Messiah would have wings when He came. Which is interesting to know because later there's a story found in Luke about the woman with the issue of blood. Now, she had been bleeding for 12 years. That's a long time. And Luke, who's a physician, says that no physician could heal this woman of her blood. So this woman, she's been bleeding for 12 years. She sees Jesus walking down the road, crowded by a big group of people, all pressed up against Him, saying, "Jesus, heal us, Jesus, teach us, Jesus, do this and do that." But this woman wasn't satisfied with just standing back in the crowd. This woman wanted something more. And she looked and she saw Jesus. And she went and she crawled her way through. She pushed her elbows and pushed and crawled through the crowd. She finally gets up to Jesus. This big moment. She finally gets her way up to Jesus and she reaches out and she touches. Yeah. She touches Jesus' sheetsie. And in that moment, something weird happens. Jesus stops everything. And He looks and He says, "Wait, stop. Somebody touched me." Now you got to imagine being one of the disciples, because they thought Jesus had gone crazy. They said, "Jesus, what are you talking about? There are people all around you touching you. What do you mean someone touched me?" He says, "No. Somebody touched me. Somebody touched me." And what He was saying in that moment is this. Yes, there was a lot of people touching Him, but this woman, she touched Him different because she touched His sheetsie, saying, "You're my Messiah. I believe that you are the Messiah." You see, everybody else had demands on Jesus, but this woman, She demanded something more than anybody else. And so she got more. She got more attention. She got what she wanted from Jesus. She got her healing that day because she knew Jesus as her Messiah, and she went after him. The Shitzi of God.